Hello, welcome to the ranch. This is a little bit different video for me, but some things just need to be said. You know, sometimes it's just the right thing to say it. So you're probably used to me, fixing things or giving advice on tools, growing things, interesting plants for your food forest. A lot of you have probably seen my banner, and it has me and a little bird, a little chicken. And you might see me in the comments. I don't know what they're calling it, an avatar or whatever, but my picture, in my comments to some of you that I like to follow and watch your stuff. And you're probably thinking, well, what's the deal with this weird little bird? Why has this guy got this weird bird in his picture? Well, that's one special little bird. And her story needs to be told. Got over 45 years of experience with chickens. And originally when I started my channel, I wanted to have, maybe 1/4 about chickens, because it's popular with backyard people. They're close to my heart. I really enjoy chickens, and with the experience, I got a lot to share. Well, things get busy. You get in the spring, you're growing things, and that's exciting stuff to show, and that's what most people are trying to find is tips on their gardening and things. And also, a lot of people didn't seem interested in my chicken videos. There's a couple on there. If you check in on my video picking up chicks at the feed store, it's not quite what you think. You might even get a laugh out of it. I hope so anyway, and even learn a few things. But anyway, back to that little bird. Well, a few weeks back, that little bird died. And I never really got to tell her story and feature her in any videos. I've got a handful of pictures and precious few minutes of video. So I think we're mostly going to let that little bird tell her own story. With those few pictures and the video footage, just a few words from me. Little bird, that was her name. May not sound like a proper name. And I tried out a few others, but always ended up just reverting to calling her Little Bird. She is the most curious bird. She didn't like other chickens. In fact, that's how she started to be a standout. She'd hide way up in the rafters in a coop. Wouldn't get near any other birds. And I'd put out my hand with a little feed. And over time, she learned to fly down out of the rafters and onto my arm. Well, one day, got where she couldn't quite fly back up. I think she was kind of heavy with an egg and just couldn't get back up there. So I took her out, put her in her own little cage. It was an old cage and kind of damaged, so it was shelter, but she could get out and she was able to free range. Even though there's other chickens about, she never took to them. Just kept to herself, just pecked and scratched around. When I'd get home from work, she'd come running right for me. She had a unique wobbling gait, and it was a bit funny to watch. I'd stretch out my arm and she'd fly right up. She was ready for a treat. Another curious thing, she'd talk to me. Now you all heard chickens cluck, and they all cluck amongst themselves. Rarely silent when it's daylight anyway. A little bird, she was different. She was a little chatterbox. She'd just sit there and give me little chirps and things, just talking to me, having a regular conversation. even interesting in that is I even understood some of it. Not a lot, but I understood more chicken than I do Chinese or Swahili. If I was to give up this glamorous life of paycheck to paycheck living, take on a different career, something a little more rewarding and financially stable, like being a pirate, well, little bird, she would have fit right in. You just couldn't ask for any better poor man's parrot than her. Back to the bit more serious. Little bird, she'd follow me around. She was always underfoot. Now, I couldn't really make eye contact with her. If we locked eyes for more than just a few seconds, she was in air, flying to land on my arm. More than once, I had to catch her out of midair. That was faith and trust showed by that little bird, that I put out my arm or catch her. Now, she was not a timid, weak little thing. No, not at all. Matter of fact, when she had to deal with chickens, she'd hold her own. She was a bossy little hen. Even seen her stand up to roosters a time or two that were 5 times her size. Now, she might be gone, but her memory isn't. And her full sister is rather prolific, so she's got a lot of nephews and nieces. And they're featured heavily in a breed I've been developing myself, a breed to be the perfect food forest fowl. Her genetics will be here for years and generations to come. Now, I've had a few birds over the years that were super special, similar to her, but they don't come along often. She was one hell of a special bird. So when you see that picture of me pop up in your comments or the beginning of my screen, I think I'm gonna leave it there for a bit. Of course, times will change. Everything changes, and one day my banner will change too, but for now, I think we'll leave it the way it is. Well, thanks for the memories, little bird. And thank you folks for watching.